We live in a society where living is everything, and even though we know the day we are born that we're going to die one day, we don't really address that. We continue to live one day at a time. If hospice is what it comes to, that's where you are in the last days of your life. Being in this physical space really allows that mind to also take it to the next level. So hospice is not so scary at the end. It becomes part of that acceptance, it becomes part of that transition to the next phase.
We know now that the benefits of palliative care can be much more useful in people who are seriously ill much earlier in their journey. They need support, they need nursing, they need basic kind of care, but there are certainly people who face significant challenges, all sorts of complex things where specialist palliative care is very beneficial and have skills that regular physicians don't.
The day program has made a huge, huge difference. As time has gone on, it's becoming more and more of that place where the people go to get the help that they need, the support that they need. We have some patients in the hospice right now who I can tell you, only about a year ago were screaming and upset and angry with, why would they have been diagnosed with such an illness and, what had they ever done. When you see them today, it's much more at peace with themselves. The journey that they've come through with the supports that they've got when they needed them, they've been heard. I think it makes a huge difference.
Well, I'm retired and I had breast cancer. And I was going to a support group, but I needed to relax. Cancer makes you very anxious. So I had to find a place where I could do something. And my friend told me about the hospice. So that's why I came. Rain or shine, I would come. If I had a bad week, I didn't care, I'd come. It was like putting a smile on my face. We all came, we all relaxed, came out of there energized. And I miss it now. I was a type A, and when I came here, I became a type D. Delighted to be here.
It was amazing. The staff here went above and beyond what I could even ever imagined or expected. When we said, just tell us what to do, we'll do whatever, the nurses and the staff said, no, you just be a daughter and you just be there with your mom and spend time with her. We'll take care of everything else. And they really did do that. They took care of everything.
I was a home care nurse in the early 90s. In those days, as home care nurses, we provided the equipment. We had an equipment room and used to fill up our cars with commodes and bedpans and everything. In the late 90s, funding became very sparse for healthcare. Along with the population growth of the North Shore, the overcapacity started then, and the first terminology was code gridlock. It was not an ideal situation at all. One family member asked for a meeting with me and the social worker, and she came to the meeting and she brought the book, the handbook that we gave to people, and she'd rewritten it as to her own experience. And her own experience wasn't really anything like what had been written in that book. And at that time, that was a big wake-up call for me, and I personally thought things have to change. So I went on the internet and I researched and I looked and I wrote this proposal for staffing and everything that would support a hospice, a freestanding hospice. The building was built, I think, 5 years later.
What we've learned over the last 10 years of hospice is technology has advanced so quickly. What we had 10 years ago is really very basic now. So people need more access to screens and information, the ability to share images with loved ones overseas. It would be nice if we could keep up to date and keep everybody current with what's going on. If we had the proper equipment now, that experience will be so much easier for people. It really makes it simpler for the patients, the families, and the staff members.
The palliative care program on the North Shore has expanded so rapidly over the last few years, which is great, but there's a constant demand for more services. We have an amazing community nursing team and home support team that work in the community, but it's very difficult to really provide enough care. Sometimes that's really challenging. Being able to beef that up and to become more robust and more responsive and more reliable around the kind of care that we wrap around people. Being able to use our inpatient facilities, hospice or palliative care unit for short stay, symptom control, getting them home with robust support is definitely something that we would like to do better in the future. Realize that vision of wrapping our arms around these patients and their families and supporting them through that time.
To lose someone you love is so painful, and for it to feel so gentle is such a gift. And that's what hospice does. It makes it a painful experience very gentle.